I'm vengeance.
What is up, DC fans? My name is Trevor and welcome to my channel. The Batman is finally out and is now in theaters, making it the 10th live-action Batman movie to hit theaters. And today we're going to rank all 10 of those Batman movies from the worst to the best. Join me down below in the comment section. How does your ranking compare with mine? Hit that thumbs up button for me and subscribe button for me. Some more Batman content coming up this weekend. I'm excited for all of it. But right now, we're ranking the Batman movies. Let's hop right into it. Right at number 10, and coming in maybe at a surprise, maybe not a surprise, is going to be Batman Returns. So for a movie that has Batman in the title, he does not show up in this movie nearly as enough as he needs to. I would say the only redeemable quality of this movie is Danny DeVito as a Penguin, but at times that even becomes unbearable, almost unwatchable. It kind of sets the tone with like the 10-minute long intro sequence for the type of movie you're in for, and that is one that's kind of uncreative, really boring, and honestly lacking Batman. Doesn't really return for a long time into the movie. At number 9 is going to be Batman and Robin, George Clooney's take on the Batman character. There's lots that went wrong here, and a lot of people have complaints with the bat nipples, which once I heard that, I couldn't unsee that. To me, the best and worst part of this movie is Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, or the Iceman, as I called him when I watched it as a kid. I actually didn't know I watched this movie as a kid, so I rewatched it to film this ranking, and yeah, watched this one as a kid, and I enjoyed Mr. Freeze then, but I do not enjoy Mr. Freeze now. He does have a couple funny puns, though.
Allow me to break the ice. You are not sending me to the cooler. Freeze well. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Next up is going to be Batman Forever. I like Jim Carrey. I like Jim Carrey quite a bit, but too much Jim Carrey is too much Jim Carrey, and this movie is over the top of Jim Carrey. You have Schumacher in there directing this movie, and it's supposed to be kind of a sequel to Batman Returns. Michael Keaton did not want to come on board, and it kind of sets a tone for this entire movie because Val Kilmer is arguably the worst Batman that we have gotten. But Jim Carrey carries this movie, and he's also kind of the reason I did not enjoy this one really at all. You also have Tommy Lee Jones there as Two-Face. You have a really good cast, but Val Kilmer just looks brutal in the Batsuit and just doesn't really fit that Batman vibe very well. And Jim Carrey is just too much.
You can call me the Riddler.
At number 7 is going to be Batman 66, Where It All Began. Talk about a very self-aware, cheesy, and honestly kind of silly and fun movie. From get adapted from a TV series into this theatrically released movie, this is where it all started. You have Adam West as Batman, and you have Burt Ward as Robin. This is just a cheesy, fun, and honestly kind of cute movie, and when watching it, you know it's cheesy, and it really just kind of embraces that, and for its time, I think this is far better than the 3 before it. I remember watching this as a kid with my family. I think I even watched this at daycare before, so there's a little nostalgia there for me. At number 6, Batman 89. I would say from this point on, I actually enjoy all these movies quite a bit. So Batman 89, Tim Burton's first movie, Michael Keaton's first movie as the Batman. I would say this movie starts out with a bang. I was very engaged, entertained throughout the first hour in this movie, really liking Michael Keaton as Batman, really liking Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne, even more so as Bruce Wayne. And then you get Jack Nicholson is there as the Joker, and he really shines brightly as this crazy Joker, and we've seen the Joker so many times now, and I would say Jack Nicholson's performance as the Joker still holds up to even the ones we've seen today. He's fun, and he really makes this movie exactly what you wanted. Jack Nicholson makes this villain his own, has nothing we've really seen before, and it is a little bit different than anything we've seen now, and Jack Nicholson still holds up to this day. The only thing that kind of loses me is that middle act. I feel like Batman kind of disappears for a little while. I feel like he's not on screen, and it really focuses on the Joker and the villain story, setting it up for a pretty dang good ending. I just felt like Batman was gone for a little bit too long in there. I kept thinking, where's Bruce Wayne? Where's Batman? When's he going to return? Then he doesn't even return, and Batman returns. But Jack Nicholson, I say, easily carries this movie to that 6th spot.
Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker.
At number 5 is going to be one of my favorite origin stories of all time. Batman Begins, getting to find out who Bruce Wayne is, what happened to his family, and how he came to be the Batman is something that is perfected in this movie by Christopher Nolan. There's a little bit of time jumps from him when he's a kid with Rachel and Alfred trying to figure out his life and his adolescence to when he's an adult training with Ra's al Ghul and training to become the Batman. And we get to learn everything that he does in The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. That's what you get to learn in this film. How has he learned to disappear? How has he learned to blend in? How has he learned to become the badass Batman that we know and love? The Dark Knight, will you? And Batman Begins perfect. So it has some very good villains in Ra's al Ghul, a okay villain in Scarecrow. I've never been a big Scarecrow guy, but Ra's al Ghul is one of the kind of scariest villains out there, and The Batman Begins is the perfect setup for this amazing trilogy that Christopher Nolan created. At number 4, Batman v Superman. So I only watched the Ultimate Edition. I have not watched the theatrical edition since theaters, so we're counting this as the Ultimate Edition, and Batman v Superman, to me, is freaking awesome. You can talk about the delivery from Ben Affleck as the Batman and as Bruce Wayne. You can talk about why he's so vengeful and why he wants to come after Superman. It explains that all so well in this movie and creates, for 1, an epic score, and 2, an epic showdown towards the end of this movie, and has one of the best superhero entrances of all time. I feel like they could have done a better job as to whose team you want to pick. Are you team Batman? Are you team Superman? This is more of a Batman movie to me, and Superman is kind of like the antagonist in this film. Obviously, towards the end, they start working together, and it really sets up nicely for the DCEU, at least we thought it was going to, and we all know what happened after that. At number 3 is going to be The Dark Knight Rises. I absolutely love Bane, one of my favorite DC villains, and this movie is absolutely awesome. I love everything about it, from the opening scene to finding out who Bane is, to Batman coming out of retirement to fight Bane, and basically having to go and relearn everything that made him who he was so he can retake Gotham from Bane. Bane is a ruthless villain. He's not so psychological with it. He's more of a brute force guy to get the army around him. He's going to lead by example for his guys. And that's what makes Bane such a good villain, different from the Joker, because Joker's kind of pulling strings around the city. But with Bane, he's really just going out there and pulling strings manually. And that's what I love about it. Tom Hardy perfects his role as Bane. You have Anne Hathaway in there as Selena Kyle and Catwoman. And you have Bruce Wayne on a real redemption story. This movie will get you hyped up. It'll get you motivated, especially when he's climbing out of the prison. Rise, with that awesome beat and chant coming out of there. I don't care who you are. That's going to get you excited. It's going to get you amped up. And that sets the tone for the rest of this movie. Only complaint I have, they have 2 really bad deaths in this movie. You know which 2 I'm talking about. At number 2 is going to be The Dark Knight, as many consider the gold standard for DC, and Christopher Nolan's masterpiece in my opinion. And you can't talk about The Dark Knight without really emphasizing Heath Ledger's Joker and the impact he had on this movie, when he only had about probably maybe 30 minutes of screen time, barely on the movie, but you felt his presence throughout. This is more of a crime thriller and a lot of good action in there as well. This is full Bruce Wayne being Bruce Wayne in this movie. He's this cocky philanthropist billionaire that we know and love, who's also the Batman, and he's kind of thinking about maybe retiring, hanging up the cape, because you have Harvey Dent as a DA in there, and this is the best version of Harvey Dent we've ever seen. It sets the stakes for the entire movie, and the Joker is one of the best villains, because he doesn't attack you physically, he doesn't attack you mentally, he attacks you in the heart. That's exactly what he did, and that's exactly what he did to Harvey, and what he did to the Batman. Then we end up getting Two-Face later on in the film, and you get a really good rendition of Maroni and the gangs of Gotham. Really well done movie all around with a blaring Hans Zimmer score. The Dark Knight is perfect, but there is only room for one, number 1, and at number 1 is going to be Matt Reeves, the Batman. You might want to call it recency bias, and that's fine. You might want to say, well, you just want to like it more than The Dark Knight. That's fine. This is the best made movie I have ever seen in my life. What Matt Reeves crafted, shot by shot, minute by minute, frame by frame, is nothing short of extraordinary. And Robert Pattinson, the Pat-Man, if you want to call him that, is absolutely perfect as this role. I think he's a great Bruce Wayne, but I think he is the best version of Batman that we have ever received. He is so captivating, and this is a detective story. It's not focused on the action. It's not focused on the explosions. It's focused on the world's greatest detective that is the Batman, and it's the best time we've ever seen that, trying to solve these murders and these crimes and figure out where the Riddler's going next. And Paul Dano as the Riddler is one of the most captivating villains we've ever seen on screen. This is a scary, riveting, emotional, and overall perfect movie. The Batman is everything and more I could have wanted to be, and it is my favorite Batman movie. Join me down below in the comments section. How does your ranking compare, and where does the Batman fall? Have you seen the Batman yet? Let me know all that down below in the comments section. Hit that thumbs up button for me and that subscribe button for me. Lots more Batman content coming this week, and I'm excited for all of it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you real soon.